Ramblings from the Warp, episode something.
Ramblings, ramblings, ramble. Oh, sorry.
I don't know the
You
episodes
start again.
offhand. I know that we are on our third Legion review.
This is episode 37.
37. Are we really 37 deep?
Yep. Not counting the
Okay.
Legion episodes that we did for 2.0.
Oh, okay. Well, we're at 30 something. Either way, welcome back to another episode of Ramblings from the Warp, brought to you by Late Night Dice. So we're gonna get into Thousand Suns, and this is Kyle's love child. Thousand Suns is like Kyle's thing, so we're gonna let Kyle take this one away. Um, and Christian and I are just gonna kind of fill in some blank space on our experiences playing against Thousand Suns because we got an annoying amount of experience both at TXO and with playing Kyle on a daily basis on TTS. So, Kyle, tell us about Thousand Suns and what sets them apart from everybody else.
Well, Thousand Suns are, as you once told me, the frat boys. They read better than everybody because they read these magical scripts and they play with the warp and they do nothing but magic. And they have 2 popped collars because they think they're better than you because they can read and they
Dude,
do
like
magic.
100% when I started reading the lore about Thousand Suns, I immediately thought of the Globa Jim Cobras. It was like, we're better
Yeah,
than you, and we
and
know
we
it.
know it. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, they're a little pretentious. I think that more comes out in 40K than it does 30K. I think they start their pretentiousness here, and then it just like blossoms as they become more and more twisted by the warp.
So to
That's just my personal feeling. I don't know much about warp or the lore. I'm going to leave that to the lore master Gabe here.
so to paint it in a light that people can understand, it wasn't so much that they were pretentious; they were blindingly arrogant. And when you think about the legions that they typically were like at odds with, it's like the most famous clash that they have are with the Space Wolves. The Space Wolves, raised Prospero. And a lot of people look at that and they're just like, oh yeah, so the people can read. We're like, ooh, monkey pot to the Space Wolves, right? So they're really pretentious and they do all the things they're told not to do because they know better. And so the story of their calamity is really painted in the notion of they were so smart they were stupid. That's really what it is and I always tell people that Magnus, when they're like, Magnus did nothing wrong, I'm like, he did a lot wrong, he just didn't realize it. He was Ernest Goes to Camp, right?
Yeah.
Great intentions, horrible execution. That's Thousand Suns in a nutshell when it comes to heresy, because they're not bad, and they're not super like super bad, but man, do they double down on self-arrogance to a point where it hurts them. And that's really how they behave.
All he had to do was nothing, and he
And
said,
that's what
"Nah,
he
I know
did.
better."
He did nothing incorrectly.
Yeah, basically. Yep.
So speaking of Magnus, I think that's where we should start. And the reason why I say that is opposite of the word bearers. He really does embody everything of his legion. He's the arrogance. He has all of the magics. When you pick him, he has all of their what are called Prosper and Arcanas. The Prosper and Arcana are the schools of magic. Like in D&D, you've got divination and evocation and illusion. His is they're called Prosper and Arcanas. They give you different things. I don't want to go into the details of them because those are definitely the weeds. But there's some that give you boons and some that give you curses or give the enemy curses. And some that are much stronger than the others. Every other breakdown of the chapters this chapter you'll understand is or this legion I should say will say that there are some that are clearly better than the others, but they all have a place in a build. Like you can always find a place to use it. He does come with his own. Oh, speaking of that arrogance, I heard someone. I can't remember who it was. I can't give credit to who it was on YouTube that I saw, but he said that his weapon and his gun is Sci-Fire Serpenta is a psychic weapon, which means he pulls it from the warp, shoots you, and then puts it back in the warp. So every time he shoots you, he's just fucking with the warp. and that's dangerous, as everybody knows. But he's arrogant enough to say, "Whatever, I'll do it just for my single weapon."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
It's
the
I what's funny about that is I now I'm just imagining Magnus doing regular everyday magic, but from the warp.
right,
Yeah.
Like
right,
rabbit out of a hat. Nope, the rabbit came from the warp.
right. He's like you think Harry Potter, like walking through the kitchen and the dishes are washing themselves, except they're little demon arms coming out of the warp to wash the dishes. You know. So he, he obviously they're traitors. They do become corrupted uh, as the lore goes on. Um, with Magnus, he comes with okay. Well, let me take a break. Take a second. They are visually Egyptian themed, right? So they've got the scarabs, they've got the ankhs, they've got eyes. You know, they've got the Egyptian theme going for them, which is why I like them. Being my gamer name is Anubis, it kind of makes sense. That's why I like them. Um, and so whenever I name some of these people, characters, weapons, items, they're gonna sound Egyptian, or at least a white boy's version of Egyptian, because that's what you get with me. Which explains why his blade is called the Blade of On-Ninurta, or however you would say that. Um, pretty much, and he's a Primarch. You don't want to mess with him, right? You don't want to fight him, and if you do, you're gonna have a lot of psychic shit happening to you. Um, I haven't played with him on the table, mainly because he's a Primarch. Uh, but from what I've seen from playthroughs and what are they called? The where you watch
Battle
people play the game.
reports.
Battle reports, yeah. Um, he's a don't fuck with kind of guy. Like you want to do everything else around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Magnus, without getting into the weeds of his profile, he is on the weaker side stat wise of other Primarchs, but where he pulls ahead is like his leadership, his cool, his willpower. That's a big one. His willpower
Right.
is
12
up there. It's at a
willpower.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kyle's not wrong when he says when you mess with him, you're gonna get a whole bunch of psychic shenanigans. This guy has like a literal over like 4 psychic weapons of different profiles he could just pull from. And that's where his arsenal comes from. It's not going to be in strength, it's not going to be in toughness, it's not going to be any of those stats. It's the firepower and like the soft stats he has that puts him ahead of other Primarchs.
Yeah. Like I said, he's got all the Prosper and Arcanas, and they all have a boon or an attack or a weapon or something, and he's got them all.
Well, and I
He's,
think that's what we're going to find with Thousand Suns, and Kyle and I have talked about this at length. That's what sets them out. That's what's going to make them the Legion for you. Is if you like the idea of the average tactical sergeant being able to create Inferno Shield, this is you, right? It's
yeah.
not so much that the base stats of the army or the characters or the units or whatever else. It's like what his hands doing. Like
Yeah.
what sign language is homeboy doing over there? Nope, nope, don't be throwing gang signs. We ain't doing that. So I think that's what's gonna set him apart. The more Kyle reads into this and like, explains it, it's like, yeah, Magnus on paper, like you look at his stat line and you're like, okay, he's a Primarch, whatever. And then you start realizing like, oh, he can make demon wings and he can fly and he can make you fly. He can also make you detonate. Like
Yeah.
it's a
I
lot.
mean,
It's a lot.
on the line, toughness of 6. That's not very great. But he has a psychic ability that makes it 2 or a +2.
Yeah.
Or he gets a I mean he's got all the psychic abilities. He gets a shrouded mitigation, damage mitigation roll. I mean, he's got an answer for everything because he has everything. You know what I mean? He does have his own special things. As a legion, everybody gets +1 to their willpower. That's their legion benefit. So everybody from attack squad to Magnus, they all get +1. Which means things like, I think I said it in the word bearers, anything with a willpower less than 8 or less are affected by that guy. My guys are all immune to it because none of them have a willpower less than 9. Because they all have the +1. We also have a gambit that says that you can change for your in challenges. Instead of using a focus roll, you just use your willpower number as your roll.
Do you know what is so busted about that gambit?
What's
Is
that?
the wording on that gambit actually says, "No, roll the focus dice, and if you don't like it, swap it out with your mind power."
Right. Yeah. If you roll less than your willpower, you can use your willpower instead.
Yeah, so it's like if you go in there and you spike the
Focus
dice and you're
roll
like,
10.
"Oh, it's high." It's like dope. Great. But
Yeah.
because there's going to be situations where you get benefits to your focus roll, right? But I can't think of very many times where you're going to get higher than a 9. That's pretty good. That's just it's such a good gambit.
Yeah.
And most of the time you're going to use
10.
this gambit. No, that's what I'm saying. On average it'll probably be a 10 because you're not going to go all willy-nilly with a random person. You're using a gambit, you're in a duel, and if you're in a duel, you're probably using a centurion or a praetor or something of that caliber, and I think they're all at a 10.
Yeah.
With the +1.
Yeah. So, and then of course, Magnus, do you want to duel a guy who's always going to go first? Like, I mean, if you're a super badass, tough guy, maybe, but not a praetor, not a legion champion. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to fight them anyway, but his own gambit is it's the same one. Yeah, but his is the 12. It's called Battle of the Wills. But his willpower is a 12. So have fun with that. And of course, he's the warlord, 470 points. It's not cheap to bring him. He's not the most expensive Primarch, but he's not. You could probably find a better place for 400 points. Depends on how you want to play. As far as their special characters go, I only have 2, which I think is fine. I mean, I don't know much about the lore behind why there's only 2 and not 30 like with some of the other guys. Probably because they all died.
No, well, because a lot of the characters that are in the game are dead. A lot of them died very early in the game, right?
That's fair.
Part of the reason why you don't have a lot of named characters with 1,000 Suns is every single one of them is a pretentious dickbag.
No.
And so when you're trying to find one to set apart, it's kind of like showing up to a party. It's like, okay, everyone here is equally annoying, and then one guy in the background decides to be the guy who plays with lightsabers. There's always that one guy at a party that plays with lightsabers. Well, that's Amon.
Yeah, Magus of Amon.
Yeah, because he's just a little bit more obnoxious than the rest, right? And I know it sounds like I'm knocking on 1,000 Suns. It's just because I don't have a better way to convey that. That they really do think that they're hot shit. And a lot of the time they're not wrong. Amon's no joke. So
he is a high command, first of all. He does have his own. He has his own magic abilities. I don't think. Let me click. I don't think. Yeah, you can't. You have no choices for him. He's got divination and telepathy as his psychic abilities, but you can't give him a Prosper and Arcana. You can't give him any kind of weapon attachment. Nothing. That's it. He gives you, of course, the high command detachment choice. But he comes with his own specialness. The divination and the telepathy has 2 psychic abilities. That's pretty good. They're not the best psychic abilities, but it's good that you have 2. And he has his own gambit that says if you choose this gambit, you must make a willpower check if the check is successful in the strike step of the challenge, any hit tests for this model are successful on a 2+, regardless of weapon skill characteristics of the models involved in the challenge.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty fucking good. His melee weapon, the Reliquary of Dust, is both melee and ranged. Ranged, you only get one shot. Guess what? The firepower is 2d6, so it's anywhere between 2 and 12 shots. Poison 5+, breaching 5+, stunned 3. That's pretty legit. His melee weapon, AP 2, 1 damage, poison 2. So on wounds,
so
it's a
that
2+.
So with his gambit, he hits on 2s and he wounds on 2s. That's kind of nasty.
Yeah, I mean strength initiative all's nil, but AP 2, 1 damage. That's all right. 5 attacks, 5 AP 2 attacks, because you're probably going to hit on 4 of them at least, right?
Well, okay, my dice or your dice?
Okay, you're right. Normal dice, you'll hit on all 5 of them. My dice, you hit on 1 of them.
Yeah, normal dice, you're going to do 4 out of 5. Kyle's dice, like, you're going to get 2 out of 2.
Yeah. The guy's a pretty good dueler. He also has infiltrate, so you can put him with your seekers. You can drop him outside of your deployment zone, which is kind of legit. He has, like I said, the divination. I'm tired of repeating that, but the fact that he's got both divination and telepathy is amazing. But he's and he's got what? No, okay, yeah. And you can put him with a squad. Obviously, there's nothing that says that you can't because he's a high command. Willpower 10. Again, leadership 10. He's legit. I like him. But
I think where that's going to be kind of fun is being able to infiltrate him with other units that have infiltrate. Is that allows you to kind of fence. It lets you fence people because it's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, there's a character over there. Like, yeah, but with his gambit, he's hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s, and it's AP 2. Like, this dude's handing out 2s like $5 footlongs, man. Like, this isn't gonna go good for anybody who's over there. So, from a tactical standpoint, you have to dedicate a certain amount of resources to handling that problem now because it's on the porch.
And if you don't handle him, he's going to get to you very quickly because he started very close.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah. I like that. That's pretty good.
But I have to say, as much as I like him, his buddy Ozek Ahriman, I like him a little bit better.
Everyone that's 1,000 stun players like Ahriman, man, from both sides of the table, from Heresy all the way to 40k. Everyone likes Ahriman, and I think it's mostly because lore reasons. But I'll let you go with that.
Yeah, what's the lore on that, Gabe?
On which part?
Why does everybody like him? What makes him so cool?
Ahriman, one dope ass name.
Yeah.
Right, like Ahriman's pretty dope. The other reason is he's kind of the savior of the Legion.
Yeah, exactly.
In a really roundabout kind of way that makes him also terrified of Swiffers. So Ahriman was the guy that when Magnus kind of threw in the towel during the raising of Prospero, Magnus kind of gave up. Really. And after that, Ahriman was like, okay, what can we do to fix this problem? Because this is a problem. And he was finding solutions, He really stepped in and kind of took on the concept of like, hey, someone's got to run this shit show no matter how bad it is. And so he did that. He wasn't afraid to ruffle feathers. He wasn't afraid to be an ass. He was just trying to help the Legion the best he could. And it kind of turned him into a badass. He actually comes into possession of that reliquary of dust and some other stuff and ends up like chanting some words that accidentally turn everyone into common like boot dust. But
Yeah.
he's
I
a
mean,
real
he
big.
stopped the flesh change, man. That's a big thing. He did a lot.
He did not stop the flesh change. Actually, he did not do that. That's actually why Magnus is called the Cyclops, the one eye. Is he actually made a bargain with the demons of the warp to save his legion from the early versions of the flesh change before he got there. So fun lore behind 1,000 Suns. The reason they're called 1,000 Suns is when the Emperor found them, they were down to 1,000. When they found Magnus, his legion was cursed with this issue, and he gave his eye to stop that. The flesh change was still a thing, but it wasn't as prominent. But the flesh change was actually really crazy. Because you would just be like, I'm summoning this, I'm summoning this. Why is my arm a tentacle? What the fuck is going on? And everyone would be like, kill that man. Like, they would be freaking out. Like, holy shit, he's turning into an octopus person. So a lot of it was Magnus. Armand did some of the fixing, but then he turned everybody into, like I said, into Swiffer dust. And that was a problem.
It looks really cool in Space Marine 2 when you kill him, though.
You're not wrong.
Right, back to Armon. What does
yeah.
this guy do, Kyle?
So, man, I tell you what, you don't want to be shooting with him. His only ranged weapon is a bolt pistol. But his melee weapon, the Corvidaean Scepter. So he is the master, is what they call him, the master of Corvidae, the Archmagister of the Corvidae, which is one of the Prosper Arcana schools, which means he has Corvidae. So you can't give him anything else. That's the one he has. But he also has the psychic ability of thaumaturgy and divination. The thaumaturgy gives you a heal. Psychic check, you can remove 1 wound. No. It removes a casualty. Before any are removed as a casualty, yeah.
Oh, so it's similar to medic.
It's a resurrection, is what it's called resurrection. If the chosen model, if you'd roll a dice and it's higher than a 4, then that model is not removed as a casualty. It is returned to play within unit coherency, and its wound characteristic base is set to base value.
Okay, yeah, so it is a full on resurrection.
It's a full on resurrection. It's different than the one that dreadnoughts get later, and I'll talk about that one in a minute. But he can give units precision 5+ with his divination, the Foresight's Blessing. So that's how I'm using them. That's how, just a little hint, wink, wink. That's what I'm doing, because it says unit, not infantry, not specific person. It says that unit gets precision 5+.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and of course he's got the Corvidae, which is inarguably the best one. If it's not a blast weapon and you pass your psychic check, you get rending 5+ on a shooting attack. That's pretty legit. He also has the every strike foreseen gambit, which gives him he hits on 2+, regardless of the weapon skill. He also has one more cool thing that I wanted to discuss. Oh yeah, that's right. Hatred Psyker. He's got Hatred Psyker. So he gets a +1 to all wound tests against other psykers. Is there a lore reason behind that, Gabe?
Behind why Ahriman hates other psykers?
Yeah.
Because he hates what his dad did?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is he like the ultimate emo? Does he hate himself because he's a psyker?
No, I wouldn't say that. From what I know from the 40K side. I'll go for it, Gabe.
That's how I'm going to paint him. I'm going to paint him with a lot of blacks. I'm going to put some hair over his eye.
So what it is he doesn't hate psykers. He hates basically an abuse or a misuse of knowledge. And he feels like psykers taint the knowledge. It's right up there with people who
It's that pretentiousness. Nobody does it better than me.
it's really not even that bad. It's like whenever you see somebody who's like, yeah, man, I went out and I bought this brand new car, and you're like, oh, that's fantastic, man, that's awesome. What'd you buy? Like, oh man, I bought a Mustang, and they're like, that's really cool. Then the guy next door is like, I bought a Mustang too. And then the guy next door is like, I bought a Mustang too. And then the last guy at the block who bought a Mustang tore it apart and put a Skyline engine in it.
Look, that guy.
And you're like, but why'd you do that? It was a Mustang. We did it because it was a Mustang. He's like, well, I like Mustangs, but I like Skylines better. Then go buy a fucking Skyline.
Yeah.
Right? Ahriman sees psykers like that. It's like, dude, you had a good thing. You had what we've been teaching, and you aren't using it properly. He also feels like other psykers, and this is a Thousand Suns thing through and fucking through, right? They know about the warp, and you're going to see this through a lot of different legions. You want to hear me get nitpicky when we cover Space Wolves? I'm going to lose my shit, because the Space Wolves are like, when they did the whole Council of Nicaea thing, and they were basically saying psykers are bad. Thousand Suns are like, psykers are fine. And they're like, no, you pull power from the warp. And they're like, everyone pulls power from the warp. And the Space Wolves are like, no, we pull power from Fenris, as though a planet magically makes their warp magic different. It doesn't. I'm tangenting,
You're
but
already getting on that soapbox.
oh, dude, I can't. It's gonna be a hard thing to cover. So their thing is they feel that Armand specifically, he feels that his understanding of the warp is well schooled, well understood. He learned it, he absorbed it, and he's doing his best to interpret it the right way. Everyone else is bastardizing it, or they're doing it improperly because they didn't study like he studied. And so he doesn't necessarily hate psykers, but that's the easiest way to convey it in game rules.
I'm sorry. He gains that because he has thaumaturgy. That's what gives it the hatred.
Oh no, but he still feels that way.
Yeah. But I mean, I assume, but I just saw that it came from the thaumaturgy that he comes with. Again, you can't make any changes to any of his loadout.
Yeah, that's all. That's all named characters.
Yeah.
There's also a fun little tidbit about Ahriman is the psyker he hates the most is actually himself.
He is emo. Yeah.
Yeah, because
will be the night.
Yeah, he constantly fights with his own mistakes. So that's a nice little gem.
So that leads me to the next, I guess I don't want to say level of psyker, would be your standard librarian. Just like any other librarian, they get access to all the psychic disciplines. But they also get the Prosper and Arcana. So you would technically have the minor school and the major school, the discipline and the Prosper and Arcana with a librarian. Almost every unit gets a Prosper and Arcana. There are some that don't. They specifically say they don't, or they are forced into one. We'll get to that when we get them. But almost every unit gets a Prosper and Arcana. And again, depending on how we want to play them and what that unit does, there are some that are better than others. I may be wrong in my thinking on this, but the way that I think of inductee are like the new guys on the field, and then you have your tax squad, which are your full tax squad, like the inductee are the babies, right? Am I right in that thinking?
Yeah, they're new recruits. They're new guys.
New recruits. Okay, so I feel like the new recruit for a psyker or for a librarian would be the Prosper and Sorcerer. It's not quite a librarian because you don't get any psychic disciplines. You don't get a Prosper and Arcana, but you do get a really badass weapon, and you do get an amalgamation. You get a biomancy discipline attack. You get a pyromancy discipline, and a telekinesis discipline attack or spell, however you want to put it. So he's like learning what what he's doing, right? The weapon that he's got is a Prosperin Spire Stave. It is a melee weapon. It has AP3, so you're picking up Marines. Force D, so the damage can be doubled from 1 to 2. It's fast, it's got a +1 initiative. But the cool rule that it has is Conduit. Since it's a melee weapon, its strength modifier is +1. So instead of strength of dash being 4, now it's a strength 5. Because it has that cool ability. He can handle himself in a fight with 4 attacks at initiative 6 with the Spire Stave. He gets the if you don't do a very good roll in a challenge, you can swap your focus roll for your 9. I'm sorry, your 10 willpower. Like Christian said, it's a 10. And he's got a pinning psychic attack, a panic psychic attack that's a blast 5, so you're hitting everybody. And then he's got the Biomantic Slam from Biomancy, which is the best melee weapon that I have ever seen. That can be taken on regular dudes. -3 initiative modifier, but a strength 13 hit, AP2, damage 2. Could be damage 4 if you pass the force check. That's gross.
Yeah,
you know,
I would say so.
I mean, that's popping Land Raiders, right? Well, popping Rhinos, damaging Land Raiders.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that, or Dreadnoughts. Straight up 4 damage on a Dreadnought is gross. And it has Armor Bane, so you're not glancing, you're penetrating. Yeah, that he's cool. He's 105 points. Yeah, so not super expensive, not crazy. But he has like a jack of all trades. I think it'd be really good in a small army. To where, I mean, he's a command, so he can be your leader in a small army. But also he has a place in a larger army, if you need someone to take care of attack squad that you're penetrating the enemy forces with. Phrasing. So the next section I want to go into is the Dreadnoughts. We do have our own special Dreadnought, the Contemptor Osiren Dreadnought. I have one of these in my 2.0 list army, and I'm looking for a way to put him in a 3.0 army. Reason being, he's got a gigantic sword on his arm for his melee weapon. It has Reaping Blow 2, force damage, so AP2, 2 damage, could be 4 damage if you pass a psychic ability. And it is a +2 strength, so it's a strength 9. It's a las cannon. Yeah. I think that's really cool. Nobody else has it but Thousand Suns.
I like the aesthetic of that Dreadnought.
It is really cool looking. And that's what I really like about this army is the aesthetics of all of it. One of the options you have, which blows my mind, the Dreadnought gets his own psychic disciplines. He can choose any of them: Biomancy, Divination, Pyromancy, Telekinesis, Telepathy, Thaumaturgy. For the normal points, 10 or 20 points, or free if you do Thaumaturgy. But because he's a Thousand Suns Dreadnought, he gets a special Prosper in Arcana that only 3 units get. Dreadnought, I say 3 units. The Dreadnoughts, the Deredeo, I'm assuming the Leviathan, and the Saturnine Dreadnought.
All Dreadnoughts.
Yeah. They get this, and the Saturnine Terminator Squad gets this Prosper in Arcana. It's called Osirean. Some people call it Osiren because it is similar. Osirean. If you pass a psychic ability, a manifestation check, your overload is reduced by 1. So on a Saturnine Dreadnought or Saturnine Terminators, the overload is reduced by 1 with this Prosperine Arcana. And so not only do you get that special ability to get rid of overload almost completely on some weapons, you also get to pass a manifestation check, and you get to regain a wound. You get to heal yourself. I don't know of another way to heal a Dreadnought without a Forge Lord or Tech Marine or another. I don't know of another way for a Dreadnought to heal themselves.
Moreover, I think it's pretty awesome that is separate from a Forge Lord repair, so you can do both.
Right. Yeah, you get two wounds or whatever. So yeah. So would an Osiran Dreadnought take that? Probably not. Mine wouldn't. But that's because I'm going to take the Aetherfire Magna Cannon, which is the Thousand Suns special plasma. It doesn't overload, and it has breaching 6+.
When we talk about what that is, it's not technically a plasma cannon. This is more of that we're going to take something from the warp, shove it into a gun, and shoot it at you.
Yeah. I call it the plasma because it looks like a plasma because I'm an uneducated fool.
Fair.
But that magnifier, that Aetherfire cannon can be put on a heavy support squad. Which when we get to that, I'm gonna have a special place in this rant for that squad. And he can also change his combi bolter out for an Aetherfire blaster. AP4 damage 2, breaching 6+, 2 shot in his sword hand. Like legit, it's like a plasma blaster, except it doesn't overload and it has 2 damage. Anyway, it's Aetherfire. It's badass. I like this Osiran Dreadnought. Gabe and I were talking about the Daredeo Dreadnoughts, and you can make them pretty gross if you do the right things. Going back to that Osiran Prosperine Arcana, there's a lot of combinations. You're gonna if you find 100,000 Suns builds, you're gonna find 100 different uses for these Prosperine Arcanas. I think that's great. I think that makes it very fluid, very unique.
Well, it's kind of what sets them apart, right? Is the fact that every unit has their access to these Prosperine Arcanas, or they have one specific to themselves. So when you think about a regular tactical squad, it's like, well, now that tactical squad can potentially kill a tank because of Biomantic Slam, or because of I think one of them gives you like melt-a-guns for hands.
Yes.
It's like it's like a regular tactical marine being able to walk up and just be like jazz hands and just smack the shit out of the center right.
Yeah, let's put that in.
Strength 9, AP4, damage 2, armor bane. Could be damage 4.
How hard is it to get any School of Magic in any other legion?
Oh, dude, it's rough.
Exactly. This is what sets Thousand Suns apart. Is almost everyone's a psyker, so everyone has a little. Everyone went to school for a little bit. Everyone knows something.
Yeah. Everybody their legion trait, besides everybody gets a willpower plus, is everyone is a psyker. And one of the big changes that I want to highlight, I know we don't like to talk about 2.0 because it's no longer 2.0, but one of the big things that I didn't realize until recently, it's not my sergeant that gives me my Prosperine Arcana anymore. It is anyone in that unit has the access to these Prosperine Arcana abilities. So even if you get sniped out, your sergeant gets sniped out, you still have it with your guys because they all have it. They're all psykers.
Yeah, I remember one of my real good buddies, Calvin, that I play with. He's one of the guys from Houston. I love playing with that guy. It was really funny in second ed because people were like, "Oh my god, Thousand Suns are really good." And he's like, "Until I have a scout with a Nemesis bolt gun, I shoot your sergeant, and then your whole gimmick goes to shit. Like that was a direct quote last edition. I was like, God, it's such a sunny disposition.
Who's your
Yeah.
smart person in the group? This guy. Bam.
Bam.
Like,
Yeah.
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 Which one of you
my
boys
army,
does? Which one of your boys does brain push-ups? Kill that man.
my army definitely pull you a United States Army thing where you don't salute officers on the field anymore.
Yeah, no
My
joke,
sergeants
right?
are going to look exactly like everybody else. Ain't going to be nothing special about them.
Mhm.
Which one's your sergeant? I don't fucking know. You have to pick. Um, but the so those, I mean, the dreadnoughts, again, Gabe has said this before. I think that the Saturnine dreadnoughts for Thousand Suns are gonna be amazing. Can be amazing.
Yeah, just because they're with that with that
Zyron or
prime
Zyron.
with that Prosper Arcana being able to just say like, hey, I'm gonna lob this plasma without penalty.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Or
Yeah.
reduce it from overload 1 to, or overload 2 to overload 1, which makes it even harder to overload on a maximal attack.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and with a Daredeo being able to shoot that plasma without penalty. On
Yeah.
Saturnine Terminators being able to shoot that plasma without penalty. Like it's a really strong thing for Saturnine and for Saturnine Dreadnoughts. And so it's really gonna open some more of the books for them. So
And
that's really gonna
especially, you can heal a wound with it
Mhm.
as well. So that makes the Terminators even harder to get rid of because they weren't hard enough.
Yeah, that's another good thing about the changes in this edition is your sorceries that your divination, your telepathy, you just get a passive when you pick up some of these. Don't got to cast anything. They just come with passive abilities that are just sitting there as traits, and that's
Right.
a big change for the Thousand Suns.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll look at the tax squads and the inductees next. Mainly because your tax squads aren't just vanilla tax squads because they're Thousand Suns. They get everything special that every other tax squad gets, but they do get their Prosper and Arcanas. So you can have one that has the they get psychic weapons, they get psychic powers. So if I'm not mistaken, every except for the Corvidae, Corvidae you get a psychic power, you get 2 psychic powers, right? You can reduce an enemy, which one's a curse. The curses are the ones that go against enemies. The psychic boons are the ones that go for you, right? I think they're called boons. I call them boons.
Blessings.
Blessings. That's what they're called. Blessings. So
Kyle calls them boons because he spends a lot of time playing online games that are not his army.
yeah, that's true. So true. I also like pirates. Doubloons. Anyway, they you get a curse where you can reduce the enemy movement by 2, or you can give yourself rending 5+ on attack squad, mind you, for 10 points. You can increase your toughness by 2, and you get a psychic ability of an AP2 psychic ability. AP2 damage 2, poison 2 plus psychic ability. I think that one's a little underrated. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. It's called Blood Boil. Comes with the Pavoni. That's pretty legit.
Well, I think the legitness comes from, again, this can go on regular tactical marines.
Right. Yeah, regular ass tactical marines.
Yeah, 10 points.
Yeah. You can just give your tactical marines a 4+ shrouded damage mitigation roll.
That's so strong.
Yeah. And they get the slap hands with the strength 9 AP4 damage 2 melee attack. Or no, that's a ranged attack. My bad. That's a 12-inch ranged attack. Yeah. So yeah, they all get that. There's also this special weapon, the Asphyx bolters. that you can put for 3 points per person. It's a regular bolter with slightly smaller range, granted, 18 inches range, with rending 6+ on a bolter. Regular attack marines, 30 points for 10. And then you have the Asphyx pistols, which is the same thing for 2 points, rending 6+. Maybe I sleep on pistols, bolt pistols. I don't think they're very good.
They're pretty solid because you can volley fire with them.
Oh, that's fair. One thing about taking Magnus, which I forgot to mention, if you do take Magnus, you can take if you take 5 TAC Marines.
4. It's always
4.
4.
If you take 4 TAC Marines, they can all become prime units.
Mm-hmm.
Which means you can have 4 combat veteran TAC squad Marines with a +1 to their leadership, cool, intelligence, and willpower. Oh yeah, now your TAC Marine squad that has to do a psychic ability to give themselves 5+ rending now has a willpower of 9.
Yeah, being able to give combat veterans to all your guys, or at least those 4 tactical squads in the main detachment, that's pretty strong. It's pretty gross.
Yeah. I tried playing around with that, and then I got told that I can't have 2 named characters. So back to the drawing board.
Well, the cool thing about that is in your primary unit, you're just turning a regular attack squad into like putting like a master sergeant in there, or your Legion Prime benefit is just good on regular attack squads. Most people don't, just because you also have psykers in there that are going to buff them even more. So your regular squads, when you start casting abilities and making them prime benefit, are just one up. That they're literally what we said in the beginning. We're better than you, and we know it.
Right.
Well, where I think the flavor really comes from with this Legion, and what I really think is hilarious to me, I love whenever an army can take something and make it like make the regular dude like not care. Right. So like the concept of, hey man, let's run up on that tactical squad and kill him. And you're like, yeah, let's prank him, John. And then you walk over and be like, that motherfucker slapped me with a multi-melta. He didn't even look like a special dude. What just happened? Because you can literally take one. I'm pretty sure it's Pyre. I'm pretty sure it's Pyre that literally turns your melee into is what, Burning Grasp?
Yes.
Am I right?
Pyre gives you burning grass. Yes.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
gives them a critical hit 6+ with AP3 breaching, strength 8, like AP2, armor bane, all this craziness.
Yeah. It's 1 attack, strength 8, AP 3, damage 2, critical hit 6+, breaching 5+, armor bane.
Could you imagine going in there and being like, let's beat these dudes up with a super elite unit? And one dude just starts doing Miyagi hands and fucks you up? I would hate that so much for a regular tactical sergeant to just melt Terminators. I'd be pissed. An
Yeah.
average Joe just started clapping, and now we all died. Like, because he's gonna kill at least 1 or 2 people a turn. You know, it's just it's gross. Strength
Yeah.
8 AP3 with breaching and the critical hits and the craziness. And that's not even getting into some of the other crazy stuff, like being able to give rending to rape your battery crews.
Yeah. And precision.
Yeah, so it's their rule stacks are really interesting.
They can be. They can be really gross. Speaking of really gross, well, not really gross, but speaking of regular ass dudes, inductees, our inductee squad's not as cool as was the Iron Warriors. Or no, it's not Iron Warriors. What's the one that gives them Bitter Fury?
What are you talking about?
And there an inductee that has Bitter Fury? Not Bitter Fury. The Fury of the Legion.
Dude, I really need you to start actually playing games.
I'm sorry. I don't ever use
It's
it.
your it's your Death Guard. It's
Death
the
Guard?
other
Yeah.
Legion you
Okay,
love
it's the other
playing.
death card the other okay, yeah, sure.
He's this
Yeah.
guy.
I'm so focused on trying to learn this guy, I forgot my other guy, okay? Leave me alone.
Uh huh.
And I'm never gonna use an inductee squad anyway. I'd rather spend the extra 20 points and get a tax squad. But there's get breaching 6+ as their prosper and arcana. Pass a manifestation check, breaching 6+ on their bolters for 90 points. That's not bad. I mean, they're inductees. Line 1. You know what I mean? My next is gonna be my heavy support squad. They're my favorite. These guys are disgusting, like the meme, like disgusting. They have not let me down in any chance, in any shot that they've given. They're a heavy support squad with the Aetherfire cannon. 24-inch range, so slightly smaller. One shot, strength 6, AP 4, damage 2, 3-inch blast radius, breaching 6+. And their assault. So if you charge them, they get to shoot you with them first. I played a game against Lance, and he had World Eaters. What are the guys that he had? I don't know their names of his squads because World Eaters.
Ravagers.
The Ravagers with his Praetor, right? I shot them once. He got closer to me. I shot him again. He charged me. I shot him again. He had just the Praetor left. And he failed the charge. Like I was doing 40, 45 hits. Breaching 6+. It was gross.
It's
gross.
it's gross because of the breaching.
It is, yeah, and the blast 3. I'm hitting multiple people.
Yeah, it's the weight of fire with the breaching, because you're basically just doubling down on the mechanic. You know, of like, I'm gonna hit you a bunch, and then I'm gonna roll these wounds, and some people are gonna die. Like, be at peace with that. You know,
a lot of people are gonna die. Those guys, and after that game, Lance said, "I am staying away from those guys." I was like, "You probably should." Be completely honest, you probably should. They are my favorite. There's also like I said, those Iron Dreadnought has that cannon. He has a bigger version of it, obviously, but he also has that Aetherfire blaster. You can put those on a tactical support squad. Not bad. I didn't hate the way that they played, but a two shot, 2 damage, breaching 6+ plasma squad, for lack of a better term. Pretty legit with no overload, no detriment to it. Except they're not assault, so black bolt pistols. So those are like the normal, I say the normal squads that you can have with their special abilities. Let's get into the like specific Legion specific squads, starting with my love-hate relationship with the Kenitai Occult Cabal. And I say love-hate because they are so good sometimes. I'm still trying to figure out what's a soup and what's a fork when it comes to these guys. I feel it's unfair.
I like how Kyle's like, man, Kenitai Occult, they're so good, but I never play them right, so they're bad.
Yeah, no, I said love-hate. Love-hate. They're so good. Every time I talk about them, you and Duncan both, they're so good, Kyle. They're so good. And I'm like, I feel like they're missing something. And you're both like, the way you play them. So I'll get there eventually. I feel like it's unfair to charge them into attack squad. That's dirty. I'll do it. Don't get me wrong. but I feel bad doing it. But they also don't do very good charging against the Palatine blades. Or getting charged by Palatine blades, I should say. They get outshined by other. I feel. These are I feel statements, Gabe. You can't attack me for my I feel statements. I feel like they could they don't live up to the same units from other legions and their caliber. Does that make sense?
It is okay to feel wrong.
I mean, it's fine. Like, you can't attack me for my feel statements. This is like a therapy session, Gabe. You can't attack me for my I feel statements.
At no point in this conversation did I say we listen and we don't judge. Bitch, I judge.
You're judging.
I'm judging.
So I will say they have massive improvement in this new edition. You can now add command units or other units to them, other characters to them. You could put a Praetor with them. You can put Ozek Armon with them, which is fucking gross. You could put a Centurion with them, whatever. So you can add something to their unit now. That's no longer stopping them. They have their own special Prosperous Arcana. They don't have a Prosperous Arcana that you get from anyone else. One, if they get shot, no, correction. During the assault phase, if they are targeting the Kenitai Occult, if they are the targets of a charge, they pass a manifestation check. They get a 5+ invulnerable saving throw against the melee and the shooting attacks of the assault phase. So the volley attacks, they get the invuln, and then in the swings, they get the invuln.
Why is that big, Kyle? Am I missing something here of the invuln save?
They only have a 3+ save. They don't have an invuln.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what I mean. Like, they don't have an invuln. They're only 3+. They're in regular armor. They're not in Terminator armor, so they don't have a 2+. They only have 2 weapons and bolt pistols. They've got swords, a paired Akia pattern force sword. AP3, so again, tactical marines, you're picking them up, which is why I think it's gross. You get +1 attack because they carry 2. +1 strength, so they're strength 5. Breaching 5+. Pretty legit. I'll say it's pretty legit. You can put that sword on a librarian too, and a couple of the other command units.
So this unit, it seems to me, when you're saying is they want to be in close combat. When they get in close combat, they still get the 5+ invulnerable save that you're looking at from other units like them, and this is where they want to be. They want to be able to use, I believe, some of their psychic powers and psychic reactions that are meant to be in close combat, and that's pretty big. That this unit looks disgusting on paper, I would have to say.
Yeah, well, where it falls short of other units that have an invuln inherent is you only get it if you get charged, and it's only at the charge. So if you stay in combat and you come back around to it, it's not going. You don't get it on the second swing back. You know what I mean? So where a unit that has an invuln would get that invuln again.
Yeah, but you have to see it from the other side. If you charge first, they're swinging with their hefty melee attacks that are probably gonna overperform. And then they have a little defensive layer of, if they get charged, they're still getting boons to save themselves to get those attacks through. So it's still really good.
Yeah.
Can't have everything.
Now, right. And like I said, there's give and take, right? The other part of this psychic ability that they have is the Mind Song of Blades, which means that if you pass your manifestation check, you get precision 5+ on your melee attacks with the swords. Could be very good. I can see the benefits of that. Like I said, they're not a bad unit. I just play them badly.
Well,
I really like these guys, especially when you charge and you have 10 of them and you get 4 attacks each.
the other thing is the aesthetics. They're
Yeah,
very
they look cool
Thousand
as shit.
Suns.
Yeah, big ass curved scimitars, or not scimitars, like kopeshes. Yeah, they look really cool. I really like these guys. I really do. I suck at them. I suck with them. Um, the next one is a unit that I'm actually really excited to play with, in my new army, and it's the Numerologist Cabal. Numerologist is a single unit, and he also gets life wards, which are separate Marines that sit with him. A little bit special here. He's a Forge Lord, for lack of a better term. He's the Thousand Sun Special Tech Marine. He's not a Forge Lord. He's a Tech Marine. He has the servo arm, which gives him Battlesmith 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he has Foresight's Blessing, which is the Precision 5 plus ability that you can give to people. So he stands next to your tank and gives the tank Precision 5 plus. If you do decide to fight him, like if you are able to get close to him, he has a psychic ability that can make you fall back or get routed. So he's like, boo bitch, run. If you do, if that fails, because it's my dice, it'll probably fail. He has weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, initiative 5, 2 attacks with a chainsword. Shred, So he's not, and a 2+ save. No invuln, but a 2+ armor save. So he's in artificer armor. And then really cool part, the life wards, which you can have more than just the 4 that he comes with. You can pay for more. They have a special rule that say if they're there, you can't snipe him. You have to snipe them first. They're his guardians.
Oh, dope. Bodyguard rule. Okay.
Bodyguard, yeah. It's called life ward. Any wounds caused as part of a shooting attack made by a weapon or model with the precision rule cannot be allocated to the Numerologist Cabal or Numerologist model. I think it's going to be really cool. I like my model for him. I kind of kit bashed a model, so I think that's going to be really cool. Leadership 8, so he's even pretty good at leadership. Willpower 8, intelligence 7. I wish I could. I don't know if I can. I want to give him a cyber familiar. Totally can. Got to find 5. Got to find 10 points, Gabe. Got to go back to the board. Got to find 10 points. And so yeah, that's your tech marine, your special tech marine. Again, he also can pick a. Wait, no, he can't. You can't give them a Prosper and Arcana. He gets what he's got, which is not bad. Like I said, precision, mind burst, love it.
He's a tech marine with bodyguards.
Yeah,
that's solid,
and can defend himself pretty well. Yeah. The next are, speaking of defending themselves, the Sekhmet Terminators. They are Cataphracti Terminators. 2+, 4+, 6 movement. They come with the Akia Pattern 4 swords, that breaching 5+, AP3. They're really cool. They look really awesome. They're really awesome looking with their like headdresses. Yeah. They have Vanguard 3, like other Terminators. The slow and purposeful, impeccable advance. They've got all that. They also get a Prosper and Arcana. They don't get the Osiris one, which is okay, I guess. But you could give them Corvidae, or you give them the Pyre with the slap hands. Like, that's what their special thing is that they get, and they get those Akia pattern 4 swords, which are pretty cool on their own. I say pay the points, make them all lightning claws, and just go fuck up regular Marines. But hey, whatever. Kind of a weird switch or change up. No, the next one is the Amatara Occult Intercession Cabal. I ran these guys last edition because they were snipers. They're snipers. They have Nemesis bolters. They are really cool in that they've got smoke screen, so they get that 5+ shrouded as a reaction. Don't worry about that if you're fighting Gabe. It's not going to do anything for you. He has augury scanners and everything.
Damn, Skippy.
They have the move through cover. They have infiltrate. They're light, so they can run +2 to their initiative when they rush. Sorry, that's what it's called, rush. They're skirmish, so they have the unit coherency 3 inches instead of 2 inches. And support unit 2. So they get 2 points no matter what the objective pays, or up to 2 points, I guess I should say.
Okay, clean up the wording on that one a little bit. So
up to 2 points, right?
Support means if it's support 2, that means you can score up to 2 points maximum.
Ever.
Which means if the objective's worth 1, you can score 1. But if it's worth 5, you'll score 2. If it's worth 3, you'll score 2.
Yeah. Oh, and with the light, they can shoot after rushing.
Mm-hmm.
But at snapshots. So, all right. They have the Nemesis bolters. And they come with Corvidae. You can't give them a Prosper Arcana, but they come with Corvidae. And the Corvidae is the Rending 5+. So, on a sniper. That's pretty dope.
Not bad. Yep, not bad.
Yeah. Breaching 5+. Precision 4+. Pinning 1. And range strength heavy, right? Yeah, heavy range strength. Yeah. So, yeah. I like them. I think they're cool, but they're the big drawback is they are not in Space Marine armor. They're in Scout armor. They're 4+ saves.
Yeah.
But they got
them aluminum saves.
Wounds, though.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Does a W mean wound?
Yes.
Am I gonna have to write a nice little letter to new recruit for messing up my term?
I'm pretty sure I've never known a scout to have 2 wounds ever in my life, bro.
Let me pull out my little lexicon over here that I printed out, the legacies.
That might be their saving grace because Seekers only have 1 wound and are on a 3+ save. Maybe they have a 4+ save with a
Thousand Suns, Amatara Cabal. Numerologist, Amatara. 2 wounds, buddy.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I didn't see that until just now.
That's gotta be a typo, bro.
It's in the PDF, bro.
That's gotta be a typo. Scout
with 2 wounds.
That's kind of crazy.
All right. Damn, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board, Gabe. I might be able to use my Amataras instead of Seekers. I got that, Chris. You got me thinking, man. That may be their saving grace. Dang. Take more wounds, but have more wounds too. All right, that's insane. I shouldn't be learning things when I'm talking about my Legion like this, but I am every time. And then we have the special unit here. These guys disappointed me when I played them. Probably because they got focused and I didn't actually get to play them. But the couple attacks I got with them, these Castellac Akia Automata. It's cool that you don't have to have a special controller cortex for them like other legions do, right? Am I right about that?
Yes and no. You still have to have a model to bring them, like, so you still need something that allows you to bring automata for other legions. For Thousand Suns, you just get to bring them. That's the big thing.
As a support, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool rule about them, psychic conduit. If a model with a Thousand Suns trait suffers perils of the warp within 6 inches of a friendly model with a special rule, the perils are put upon the etheric feedback is put upon this. It suffers a wound on the cast like automata instead of the unit that failed. That's cool. That's legit. Love that.
That
Here's
that's
what
that's that's pretty chicken shit, bro. You're like, oh man, I didn't read good. Robot, take my damage.
right, yeah, pretty much. Cool thing, they got 4 wounds, so they can take a couple, 3 plus save, 4 plus or 5 plus invuln. They get an invuln. That's cool. This is the part that really hurts. Weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3. They come with the
Well, yeah.
Asphyx bolt cannon, okay? Which is, again, speaking of saving graces, it's this weapon that's the saving grace. Firepower 4. AP 4, okay, damage 1, okay. Rending 4 plus. So you're
If
still
they hit,
hitting
they
on
rend.
4s. If they hit, yeah, right? They miss a lot with me. And they do have firing protocols, so they can shoot their Asphyx bolters and both of their bolters that are with them.
So where these guys are going to shine that I don't think you may have tried, you may have not. I don't know. I wasn't in the game where you ran them, but a little tidbit that someone could explore with out there is we talked about the numerologist cabal. We talked about how he had life words, and he's basically the smart tech marine that read a book one time and said, "Hey, I know magic now." You put these two guys close together, and you have a, I'm not going to say super resilient, but you have a little nice combo. You have a guy with life words that can't get sniped out, and he could heal these constructs that Kyle's talking about right now. So I
yeah,
get the fact that they're on weapon skills, a lower weapon skill, but you got a little death unit that's not gonna. It's gonna be hard to shift, and when they do hit, it's gonna be pretty nasty.
right. I mean, they have their benefits. They just didn't do very well with me when they got focused down by 2 las cannon, 2 double las cannon contemptors. Um, fuck you, Lance. Anyway, so they have a melee weapon, a key of force claws, looks really cool. Breaching 5 plus, AP 3 damage 2. That's pretty
So
legit.
I just need to go
If you
back.
get hit with that weapon skill of 3.
I just need to go back one line, and because I feel like Lance is catching strays.
Actually, you're right. I should correct that. Fuck you, Christian, for telling Lance to build it like that.
Oh boy, there you go.
My bad.
Making sure my boy Lance out here catching strays for no good reason. Like, ugh.
Lance knows he's doing something proper, though. If Lance is catching flack from Kyle, it's gonna put a smile on his face because he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing something right."
That's true. That's the cash lags. Okay, I know there's a place for them. It wasn't in the army that I had them in. You know what I mean? Soup spoon wasn't part of it for me.
So with those Castellax robots? But do you feel like they add that Legion flavor to the army?
Oh, definitely. They're definitely a psychic. Like I can see them being the psychic. Like go forth and do my bidding because now I'm super special and I can control weapon. I can control robots with my mind. You know what I mean? They look really cool. They look really cool as models. And the fact that it's like, oh, I fucked up. You take the damage instead. totally Thousand Suns vibes. Passes the vibe check.
Okay.
The one thing I haven't really hit on, and that's their, I kind of did it on purpose. It's where you can get these special units into your army via the detachments. So your special units, the Castellax, of course, like I said, are support. Your heavy supports are your heavy supports, like that. All that's normal. Dreadnought, those Iron Dreadnought's a war engine. But your Kenitai, your Numerologist Cabal, and your Sekhmet Terminators are all elites. Your Amatar cults are recons, right? The Thousand Suns specific auxiliary detachment is the Prospering Convocation. It gives you one elite slot, one troop slot, one heavy support, and one fast attack. I find it very easy to use it because you can, of course, you can use multiple of them. But with the troop choice and an elite choice, you get your three of your four specials, right? And then you can throw in a Spartan just for fun.
Well,
You know
and
what I mean?
the other thing too, there's two key things about that attachment. The first is that it's an auxiliary detachment, not an apex detachment. So you can just keep taking them.
Yeah,
The other thing is the troop choice in that detachment is prime,
right.
which again, master sergeants or combat veterans, combat veterans being able to boost those soft stats to increase your chance of doing your Prospering Arcanas and all that kind of stuff. It's just a really good detachment because it's an auxiliary. You can take as many as you want. You're getting, like you said, you're getting all your Legion benefits out of that detachment for the most part, save one or two units. You can field most of it out of that.
Right. And it's prime.
The
Troop.
troop slot.
Yeah. So I really like the Prospering Convocation. I think it has a fair bit. I mean, I don't take advantage of the heavy transport of the fast attack. Um, obviously, people can. There are reasons. Um, I just don't. I don't have a Land Raider in this. Uh, in my army. So, but if you needed one, hey, you can get it with your Sekhmet Terminators. You know what I mean? If you're gonna take Sekhmet, you might as well pick the Prosper Convocation and get that as well. I think that's everything. That's all the special units. That's all the commands. Talked about all the cults, the Prosper Arcanas. I don't think I missed any special weapons.
Yeah, if you're starting Thousand Suns, just to piggyback off of what Gabe said, if you wanted a good starting point to where like you didn't know what you want to do, this is a good detachment to just fill in these slots like Gabe hinted at, this auxiliary detachment. So you could spam it with having just command slots like your cool special librarians and um unlock your special units that way. It wouldn't be bad just to have, you know, three of this auxiliary detachment to get your three elite slots, three more troop slots, three transports as you need them, and one fast attack is really good. I think people sleep on that. Uh, land speeder is really good this edition. It would give what I think Kyle was hinting at with the special units. You're walking half the time. Let's get some land speeders in there. Get some speed in there for you. Uh, I think this to me, because I like looking at legions with and their detachment and ranking them off that. I would personally say this is in the top 5 of one of the most strongest detachment, just because it gives you a lot of things you would want to take that are strong. It gives you a lot of things that you want to take narratively. because all the cool special units are mostly in elite slots that you want to take, and it just fits. So that's what I have to say about this detachment. It's really good.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's the Thousand Suns. I feel like I tried to keep it in some kind of order that makes sense. We all learn something new, which I think is fun.
Well, Thousand Suns, like I'll say this. I don't want to dissuade anyone from playing Thousand Suns, but if this is going to be your first Legion, you need to truly embody Thousand Suns and read a lot.
Yeah, I will say I've spent my Warhammer journey, I should say, started with Death Guard because Death Guard is very simplistic. And then someone's like, "What is a guy named Anubis not playing Thousand Suns?" And I was like, "Because they're difficult." And then I started reading them. And I was like, "But they look really cool." And Gabe's like, "If you do this, you're gonna have to commit. You're gonna have to read. You'll have to read, do know your rules. You have to learn a whole bunch of shit." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I played Dark. I played Death Guard for a year, made the jump to Thousand Suns, and I've been learning every time I play ever since. This is not for the faint of heart to start with.
Well, no, I would say if you're learning to play Thousand Sun, yes, Gabe is right. There's a curve. The sky is the limit on how much you put into it. But if I would have to give one tip for any new Thousand Sun players, if you're gonna go into the psychic powers, build your list however you want. Not dissuading you from models, but a little key thing that I used to do when playing them in other, well, I'm gonna say other games, is make them all one school, make them all one, like go all divination at one, and play those games with just divination. Learn divination, same list. Be like, okay, take divination off of everything. Let's give them biomancy on everything. Take these steps into learning this army because it's going to be hard if you just make your whole army and you give them all random different. You're gonna forget your rules. You're gonna forget which one has which. So that's put training wheels on the on this legion because God knows we need it. I would go in one school of practice first and try that out until you
Yeah.
get that under your belt.
And this is a great way to learn this is what we talked about in one of our very first episodes. Start with a small army. Start with 1,000 points.
Yeah, I don't think that
Make it
with
simple.
I don't think that with Thousand Suns you can responsibly learn the Legion without playing something along the lines of like a 1,500 or 1,000 point list, just because of how dense the rule set is for Thousand Suns. Like when we first started talking about doing Legion reviews, like you guys have heard me talk about it before. This was the only Legion I was kind of worried about, uh, just because it's not that it's necessarily like super hard or super crazy. It's just a lot of information.
Yeah, there's one legion else I'm worried about that I don't want to speak out into existence, and it's not because they're hard, it's not because they're difficult. It's because the love for that faction, the love for that legion is so fucking crazy. If I say one thing wrong or if Gabe says one thing wrong, it's gonna be pitchforks, dude.
Space Wolves.
Exactly. But that's it for me. I think we covered Thousand Suns pretty good. Gabe, do you have anything for Thousand Suns?
No, I think we did great. I think that we've got a pretty good understanding of how they differ from other legions. I would just say, like again, this legion, it's a lot of information. It's a lot to read, a lot to wrap. Um, shout out to Kyle for taking that one on. I know he loves Thousand Suns, but this has also been kind of like a project of misery for him to a degree because he's just like, oh, so many rules.
Yeah, I feel like that guy with holding like all the textbooks that are falling over, and it's like I didn't read enough.
But apart from that, that's pretty much Thousand Suns, and that's kind of the review on those guys. With that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap on this episode, guys. As always, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Happy dice, happy life. Fuck Erebus, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Hey everybody, we're going to be playing Heresy, the Alamo GT, May 16th through 17th, 2026 at the Riverwalk Hyatt Regency, San Antonio, Texas. Come see us there. Link in the description. Check it out, guys. Yes.